Okay, so it looks like we won the die roll here. And this hand seems reasonable enough. Okay. We don't really have a threat, but we do have a dig through time and some removal spells. So, yeah. Willing to go with it. Polluted Delta can find Smoldering Marsh. So we can lead on the Delta. Let's go ahead and do that. That way we can roast on turn 2 if we want to, like if our opponent plays a 1-drop here. It looks like that might actually happen, like a Monastery Swiftspear. Or a Zergo, okay. And we'll just want to go ahead and get rid of that immediately. Unfortunately, this Prairie Stream isn't going to come into play untapped this next turn, which means we will not be able to Jeskai Charm or play Jace, but we'll just wait. So this could be like red-green landfall or just a Tarka red. Hopefully our opponent doesn't play something like a Hordling Outburst. Nis is actually pretty annoying here. We can't Valor Stance away the Abbot, so we're just going to be forced to take 3. If we had like a Mantis Rider, we could pressure Nissa, but we don't. So I think we just want to play our Jace here. Even though it's not super exciting, we have Valor Stance. If our opponent tries to Fiery Impulse away our Jace, we can stance it, give it indestructibility. And this is ticking up, so getting closer to that ultimate. And it looks like the outnumber is getting cast, so we will go ahead and give our Jace indestructibility, which is really nice. If our opponent doesn't have an additional removal spell, we can also block the Abbot. It's pretty relevant here. Our opponent probably should have attacked first and then played the outnumber after we chose not to block. Now we save essentially 3 damage. So that's pretty good. Okay, so this turn we could just loot right now, or we could play Jeskai Charm and then loot. The issue is that we don't really have a good mode for Jeskai Charm, although we could just deal 4 to the Nissa with the Jeskai Charm. So I actually kind of like that play. Alright, let's try it. Yeah, I guess we could have dealt with the Nissa last turn with Jeskai Charm, but we wouldn't have Jason play this turn. Maybe we should have done it last turn, but that sequence with the Valor Stance and the Jace worked out pretty well for us. Alright, let's discard this Mystic Monastery, I think. Or we could discard Jace. It's definitely one of those two. I think this turn we probably want to flashback Roast on the Abbot. Seems pretty good. Yeah, let's just discard the Mystic Monastery. And flashback this Roast. I mean, our Jace could die, but we have a backup one. And Nissa can't -2 this turn. So yeah. I think this line is fine. If our opponent has something like a Tarka's Command or a Reckless Bushwhacker, we could definitely end up losing our Jace that way. Unclear. It looks like our opponent's thinking right now. Okay. Looks like that resolved. And yeah, I mean, the Nissa tokens can be pretty annoying because of Bushwhacker and Atarka's Command, even though they're just 0/1s. They can become 1 power, and also, okay, so yeah, there is the Atarka's Command. So it looks like our Jace is going to die this turn, which is kind of annoying. It's unfortunate. Yeah, these 2 tokens are going to come at Jace. And so we kind of need to draw something. If we draw something like Mantis Rider, that would be perfect. But we didn't, so we'll just play our second Jace. The Dig Through Time was not a good draw because we can't cast it right now, of course. And, okay, so Abbott didn't hit anything super relevant. A second Nissa. So I wonder if our opponent's going to just cash this Nissa in. No? Okay. So on our turn, we can loot and then flashback the Jeskai Charm if we want to. So yeah, let's go ahead and loot to flip the Jace. And we drew a Soul. Alright, let's discard one of our digs. I don't think we need 2. And Soulfire is pretty nice to be able to play. Let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and Jeskai Charm away the Nissa this turn. And we'll play Soulfire now so we get the life gain bonus. Yeah, and this is pretty annoying coming out of that deck. Some of the times it's in the sideboard, but it looks like our opponent's main decking it. And that makes a lot of sense. So right now, this Jace is in a precarious spot as well. Our opponent could have a number of things that are going to end up with the Jace dying. But we're at least at 17 life. So our life total's not in bad shape. Alright, it looks like our opponent's just attacking with this Abbott. I wonder if... Alright, I mean, I feel like we should just block and see what's up. If they just trade, our Jace is still alive, and we have a second Soulfire Grandmaster. Okay, P and Kieran. Interesting. So, unfortunately, no second blue. But let's just go ahead and play our Soulfire. Our opponent has 3 cards still in hand, which is definitely worrisome. But, yeah. I mean, when the red deck draws the right amount of lands and spells, which is the case here, it can be hard to deal with. I believe we have like some Ration Clerks we can board in, cards like that, but if this is a Bushwhacker turn, we are in a really rough spot. And it looks like it is going to be Reckless Bushwhacker coming down. So, lots of creatures on our opponent's side. And I wonder if it's just going to be an attack with everything here. or if something is going to get held back. Let's see. Looks like Jace is going to die no matter what. We can block the Pia and Kieran and at least eat that. So, yeah, let's just block Pia and Kieran and take a bunch of damage, I guess. Puts us to 10. We're not dead, but we're in rough shape. Here's Mantis Rider. So, do we want to get in there with both? Let's see. Our opponent's got one card in hand. We can leave back the Soulfire. Let's just attack with it. Hopefully that one card and whatever our opponent draws isn't going to kill us. Mantis Rider is a reasonable blocker in this spot. So, I guess we can just block a Bushwhacker token. Hopefully, Atarka's command, yeah. Alright, so what's it going to be here? Another Hordling Outburst. Okay. And a Dragon Fodder. It's a lot of threats. Okay, so we drew Jeskai Charm, which was an interesting draw for sure. We can use it to deal 4 damage to our opponent. We could give our creatures +1/+1 in lifelink. Unfortunately, if we had one more land, we could actually use Soulfire's ability and revive the charm, but we don't have another land. So let's just go ahead and hit for 3 here. And if our opponent draws something good, we're probably dead. Soulfire may not do it, actually. I think we're going to win this game on the back of Jeskai Charm, gaining us 4 life, plus the Soulfire gaining us life, and then we're going to hit with our Mantis Rider. So this is a really weird game, wow. For some reason, our opponent's attacking with these plant tokens. So let's go ahead and deal the 4 damage. We never got to cast these dig through times at all, but looks like we're still going to end this game on top. Not dying. And our opponent attacked with everything. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why our opponent attacked with those 0/1 tokens. Because that may have actually been the decider there, but let's go ahead and move on to game 2. Got some nice sideboard options for this matchup. We have Radiant Flames to deal with all those tokens, which is really important. And then a Ration Cleric's pretty good as another way to gain life, and just a solid blocker on the ground. I also like the Pia and Kieran. So, looking at cards to take out, the stances were good for us that game, but in general, I think they're bad. We can afford to board out maybe Sarka, maybe Gideon. Let's see. Roast is pretty awkward against a bunch of tokens. Jeskai Charm was good for us that game. I don't know if that means we want to keep them in, though. Probably afford to board out 1 dig. Shave on Jeskai Charms, maybe. Monastery Mentor is interesting. Sarkhan can pressure Nissa, so I like it for that reason. I think we could afford to maybe shave on these Jeskai Charms. Yeah, I think we can afford to. It makes our Soulfires a little bit worse. Alright, let's try this. I don't think we want to board into spells because it looks like our opponent's playing the Atarka's Command Bushwhacker deck rather than the Teamer Battle Rage Become Immense deck. This hand is pretty solid. We've got Soulfire. We don't have any of our sideboard cards, but I think it's definitely a keep. Gideon and Ojutai's Command admittedly are a little bit slow. This deck isn't super explosive though, which is why I decided to keep them in. It normally wins by going wide, not that quickly though. So we know our opponent's not going to be playing turn 3 Nissa because Mountain means that's not going to happen. That's pretty annoying. We could have waited on the Soulfire to try to get around outnumber, but as it is, our Soulfire is gone. Let's just go ahead and get rid of this Zurgo, and we'll play a tap land here, setting up for turn 4. This could be Horde-like Outburst here. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Or it's going to be a Morph. Interesting. Wow. So maybe that's like a Den Protector. Not too sure. But feel like we just want to try to get Gideon into play right away. Although our opponent could just use a removal spell and get rid of the Gideon. So maybe we should rethink it. Do we want to play Gideon? If our opponent just plays Fiery Impulse or Outnumber and attacks it, then it dies. We could also just play Mantis Rider this turn. But I don't know. I feel like we just want to play Gideon. If it dies sort of thing. Like, our opponent still has to use their turn to kill it. I don't think we want to plus it. So, okay, Abbot. Monastery Swiftspear, interesting. The other reason why I like playing Gideon now is our opponent doesn't have access to green. Okay, well, Fiery Impulse plus kill Gideon is pretty good, but that means our opponent isn't playing that Monastery Swiftspear, I guess. So now we've got a couple of different options. I think I like just playing a land and passing. We could also play the Mantis Rider. But getting back to Soulfire Grandmaster is pretty appealing. Yeah, let's just wait. Let's see what our opponent does. We have the activation of our man land available to us. So, interesting. It's going to be an attack with everything here. Alright, let's go ahead and fire off this Ojutai's Command. Do we want to gain life or draw a card? We could gain 4. We're definitely returning the Soulfire. I think we want to draw the card. So, yep. We kind of want more gas in hand. Get back our Soulfire. That was a great draw. Fiery Impulse. And so, alright. Our opponent's firing off the outnumber now. So, I think we want to fire off this Fiery Impulse. The token's really kind of scaring me. I mean, sorry, the Morph is kind of scaring me. So let's go ahead and get rid of it. And it was a Den Protector. Okay. So, we can afford to take the hit this turn. And our opponent's got 2 cards in hand, but still no Great Source. So Mantis Rider's pretty good blocker in the spot. Alright, looks like that's going to be it. Our opponent didn't find the green source. So yeah.